Sanjaya Vacha Eva Mukto Rishikeshu Gudakeshena Bharata Senayoruvayor Madhye Sthapayadvarthottamam Bhishmadropamukhata Sarvesham cha Mahikshitaam Uvacha Partha Pashyaitam Samavetam Guruniti Tatta Pashyasthitam Partha Vitranatha Pitamahan Acharyan Madulan Bhatran Putran Autran Sakhisthatha Shashram Sukrutaschaiva Senayoruvayorapi Tan Samiksha Sakamateya Sarvan Madhunamasthitan Kripaya Paraya Vishto Vishidam Nidamabrahit Arjuna Vacha Drishkriman Swayanam Krishna Yushumasamupasthitam Siddhanti Mamadapani Muhammadashishyati Vepakruscha Sharire Me Romaharshascha Jayate Gani Vamsam Sakhirasta Tavachaya Panyahate Nacha Samum Namastanam Brahmativa Chame Manaha Nimittani Cha Pashyami Pradikani Yeshava Nacha Shreyo Bhavashyami Hatva Svajanamahave Nakamshe Vijayam Krishna Nacha Rajam Sukhani Cha Kimno Rajena Govinda Kimmo Vyajivitena Yesham Arthe Kamchitramno Rajan Bhoga Sukhani Cha Dakine Vasvishta Yuddhe Pranam Tyakva Dhanani Cha Acharya Pitara Putras Tathaiva Cha Pitamaha Matula Shvashra Pautras Shala Sambandhinastatha Ekan Nahantu Ichchami Jatopi Madhusudana Apikaryokya Rajasya Heto Kipnu Manihate Nihate Bhashranandana Kapriti Syajanadana Papamevashraye Rasman Advaitanatatayinah Tasman Manavayam Hantum Dhatra Rashtan Sabandhava Swajanam Hitam Bhava Sukine Samamadhava Yadyapyetena Pashyanti Lobho Bhatachetasa Ulakshayakritam Dosham Mitradoye Chapatakam Tatham Nadeyamasmabhi Papadasmani Valvitum Ulakshayakritam Dosham Papashyadnirjanatana Ulakshaye Pranashyanti Kuladharma Sanatana Dharmena Vishve Kulam Kristam Adharmo Abhyadvira Adharmavima Krishna Prashyati Kulasya Sriyashkrishna Shumashisa Jayate Varna Sankara Santayo Naraneva Kuladhana Kulasya Cha Padanhiyatarokesham Buddha Vaidodakakriya Doshe Dite Kuladhanam Varna Sankara Karakai Utsadente Jati Dharma Kuladharma Shashashata Utsanna Kuladharmanam Anushyanam Janatana Narahe Niyakam Vaso Bhavati Nirashushruman Ahopadamahat Papam Kartum Vyavasitavayam Yad Rajya Sukatobhena Hantum Svajanam Udyata Yadi Mam Pratikaram Ashaktam Shastrapayah Dhastarashtrarane Hanyastarne Kshemataram Bhavet Sanjaya Vacha Evam Upajuna Sankhe Rato Vastav Avisha Visrija Sasharam Chapam Shokata Samvignanasa Om Tat Sati Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastri Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Arjuna Vishadayo Nama Prathamodhyayah
Chapter 2. Sanjaya said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Mahasudana Krishna spoke the following words. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy. O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading impotence. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy." Arjuna said, "O killer of enemies, or killer of Madhu, how can I counteract with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of my worship? It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls, who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live, yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. Now I'm confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is the best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. I can find no means to drive away this grief, which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with certainty like that of the demigods in heaven." Sanjaya said, "Having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. O descendant of Bharata, at that time, Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "While speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. Neither was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress, and their disappearance in due course, are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from the sense perception of seeing Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. O best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress, and is ready in both is certainly eligible for liberation. Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. They have concluded by studying the nature of both. That which pervades the entire body you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy the imperishable soul. The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharata. Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is a knowledge, for the self slays not nor is slain. For the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever-existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn, and immutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? A person puts on new garments, giving up old ones. The soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. The soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. This individual soul is unbreakable, insoluble, and can be neither burned nor dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same.
It is said that the soul
It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. If, however, you think that the soul or the symptoms of life will always be born and die forever, you still have no reason to lament or mind to harm. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. All created beings are unmanifest in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So what need is there for lamentation? Some look on the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. O descendant of Bharata, he who dwells in the body can never be slain. Therefore, you need not grieve for any living being. Considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles, and so there is no need for hesitation. O Partha, happy are Kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planets. If, however, you do not perform this religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. People will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death. The great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you insignificant. Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with the determination and fight. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting, without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing you shall never incur sin. Thus far I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain in these terms of working without fruitive results. O son of Buddha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of works. In this endeavor there is no loss or diminution, and the little plants growing on this planet can protect one from most dangerous type of fear. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Gurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many-branched. Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowering words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruity activities for elevation to heavenly planets. Result of good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sanctification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, there is a determination for devotional service in the Supreme Lord does not take place.
The Vedas
which subject the three modes of material nature, O Arjuna, become transcendental to those three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self.
All purposes served by small but can once be served by great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. You have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. Perform your duty at your voice, O Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success of failure. Such equanimity is called yoga. O Dhananjaya.
Dhananjaya, keep all abominable activities far distant by devotional service, and in that consciousness surrender unto the Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are still misers.
A man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad actions, even in this life.
Therefore, strive for yoga, which is the heart of all work. By thus engaging in devotional service to the Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the results of work in the material world. In this way, they become free from the cycle of birth and death, and attain the state without all miseries by going back to Godhead. When your intelligence has passed out of those dense forests of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard. When your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, and when it remains fixed in the trance of realization, then you will have attained the divine consciousness. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak, and what is his language? How does he sit, and how does he walk?
The
Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of desire and sense gratification, which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be a pure transcendental consciousness. One who is not disturbed in mind even amidst the threefold miseries or elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady mind. In the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. One who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects, as the tortoise draws its limbs within the shell, is firmly fixed and perfect consciousness.
Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remains, but ceasing such engagements
by experiencing higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness.
The senses are so strong
and impetus for
Arjuna that they
forcibly carry away the mind, even of a man of discrimination
who is endeavoring to control them.
One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control, and fixes his consciousness upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence. While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment lust develops, and from lust anger arises. From anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool.
But a person free from all
attachment and aversion, and able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom, can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. For one thus satisfied Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer.
In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established. One who is not connected with the Supreme Impersonal Consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? As a strong mind sweeps away both on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away immense intelligence. Therefore, mighty one whose senses are restrained from their objects is certainly of steady intelligence. What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-control, and the time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective stage. A person who is not disturbed by the sudden flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is every being filled but is a mystic, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy his desires. A person who has given up all desires for self-gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship, and is devoid of all seeking, he can attain real peace. That is the way of spiritual and godly life, after attaining which a man is not bewildered. If one is thus situated even at the hour of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God.
कर्मणोद्भवं विद्धि ब्रह्म अक्षरसमुद्भवम् तस्मात् सर्वत्र ब्रह्म नित्यं जगते प्रतिष्ठितम् एवं प्रवर्तितं चक्रं न वर्तते स्थिरः अघायुरिन्द्रियारामो मोहं पार्थ सजीवति यस्यात्मरतिरेव स्यात् आत्मविपदश्चमानः आत्मन एव सन्तुष्टस्य तस्य कार्यस्य विद्यते निर्वितस्य वृत्तिनाथो न कृतिः कश्चन न तस्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चित् अर्थः तस्मात् सत्सतं कार्यं कर्म समाचर असक्तो ह्याचरन् कर्म परमाप्नोति पुरुषः कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धिं आश्रिता जन्मकादयः लोकसङ्ग्रामेऽपि सम्पश्यन् कर्तुं यद्यथाचार्हि श्रेष्ठः तत्तदेवातरो जनः स यत्प्रमाणमाकुरुते लोकस्थाननुवर्तते
न मे पार्थस्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचन अवाप्तव्यं वर्त एव च कर्मणि यदि अहं न वर्तेयं चातु कर्मण्य अतन्त्रितः मम वर्तमानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्याः पार्थ सर्वशः उत्सीदेयुर्मे लोका न कुर्यां कर्म चेदहं संकरस्य च कर्ता स्याम् उपहन्यामि मा प्रजाः सप्ताह कर्मण अविद्वांसो यथा कुर्वन्ति भारत कुर्यात् विद्वांसुरासक्तश्चिकीर्षुर्लोकसङ्ग्रहं न बुद्धिभेदं जनयेत् अज्ञानं कर्मसङ्गिनां जोषयेत् सर्वकर्माणि विद्वान् युक्तः समाचरन् प्रकृतेः क्रियमाणानि गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वशः अहङ्कारविमूढात्मा कर्ताहमिति मन्यते तत्त्ववित्तु महाबाहो न कर्म विभागयो गुणागुणेषु वर्तन्त इति मत्वा न सज्जते प्रकृतेर्गुणसमुद्धाः सज्जन्ते गुणकर्मसु तान् कृत्स्नविदो मन्दान् कृत्स्नविन्न विचारयेत् मयि सर्वाणि कर्माणि सन्न्यासात्मचेतसा निराशे निर्ममो भूत्वा युध्यस्त्वविगतज्वरः ये मे मतम् इदं नित्यम् अनुतिष्ठन्ति मानवाः श्रद्धावन्तो अनुसूयन्तो मुच्यन्ते ते अपि कर्मभिः ये त्वेतदभ्यसूयन्तो नानुतिष्ठन्ति मे मतम् सर्वज्ञानविमूढांस्तान् विद्धि नष्टाम् अचेतसः सदृशं चेष्टते स्वस्याः प्रकृतिर्ज्ञानवानपि प्रकृतिं यान्ति भूतानि निग्रह किं करिष्यति इन्द्रियास्येन्द्रियास्यार्थे रागद्वेषौ व्यवस्थितौ तयोर्नवशमागच्छेत् तौ हि अस्य परिपन्थिनौ श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्मास्वनुष्ठितात् स्वधर्मे निहितं श्रेयः परधर्मो भयावहः अर्जुन उवाच अथ केन प्रयुक्तोऽयं पापं चरति पुरुषः अनिच्छनपि वाष्णेय बलादिव नियोजितः श्रीभगवानुवाच कामलेश क्रोधलेश रजोगुणसमुद्भवः महाशः महापापा विद्यतेन वैरिणं धूमेनाव्रियते वह्निः यथा दर्शो मलेन च यतोर्विनावृतो गर्भस्तथा तेनेदमावृतम् आवृतं ज्ञानं एतेन ज्ञानिनो नित्यवैरिणा कामरूपेण कौन्तेय दुष्पूरेणाननेन च इन्द्रियाणि मनोबुद्धिः अस्याधिष्ठानम् उच्यते एते विमोहयन्तीश ज्ञानम् आवृत्य देहिनम् तस्मात् त्वम् इन्द्रियाण्यादौ नियम्य भरद्विषभ पापमानं प्रजहितेनं ज्ञानविज्ञाननाशनम् इन्द्रियाणि परण्याहुः इन्द्रियेभ्यः परं मनः
मनसस्तु परा बुद्धिः यो बुद्धेः परतस्तु सः एवं बुद्धिः परं बुद्ध्वा संस्थाभ्यात्मानमात्मना जहि शत्रुं महाबाहो कामरूपं दुरासदम्। ओम तत्सत् इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्ण अर्जुन संवादे कर्मयोगो नाम तृतीयोऽध्यायः।
Chapter 4 Transcendental Knowledge. The personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivaswan, and Vivaswan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ishwan. This supreme science was thus received in the chain of the succession, and the 70 kings understood it in that way. But in the course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it appears to be lost. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you, because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. Arjuna said, the sun god Vivaswan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed science to him? The personality of Godhead said, many births both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of the enemy. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of pilgrimage, and at that time I descend myself, to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to establish the principles of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Being free from attachment, fear and anger, being fully absorbed in me and taking refuge in me, many persons at once become purified by knowledge of me, and thus they all attain transcendental love for me. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, the son of Pratha. Many in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world, according to the three modes of human nature and the work associated with them. The four divisions of human society are created by me, and although I am the creator of this system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. All the great souls in the ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore, you should perform your duties following in their footsteps. Even the intelligence are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all of this fortune. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. One is understood to be the full knowledge, whose every endeavor is the void of desire and sense gratification. He is said by sages to be overlord of the reactions of heaven have been burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. Abandoning all attachment to the result of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no futile action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence is perfectly controlled. He gives all
the senses of proprietorship over his possession and acts only for the purpose of necessity of life. This working is not affected by sinful reactions. He who is satisfied with gains which comes of his own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled although performing actions. The word of God.
Unattached to the modes of material nature,
and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence. A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities, in which the consummation is absolute and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. Some yogis perfectly worship the demigods by offering different sacrifices to them, and some offer sacrifices in the fire of the Supreme Brahman. Some, the unadulterated brahmacharis, sacrifice the hearing process and the sense in the fire of mental control. And others, the regulated householders, sacrifice the objects of the senses in the fire of the senses. Others, who are intentionally achieving self-realization through control of the mind and senses, offer the functions of all the senses and the light breath as a relation into the fire of the controlled mind. Having accepted strict rules, some become enlightened by sacrificing their possessions, and others by performing ceremonial austerities by practicing the yoga of eightfold mysticism, or by studying the Vedas to advance transcendental knowledge. Still, others who are applying the process of breath restraint to remain in trance practice by offering the movement of the outgoing breath into the incoming, and the incoming breath into the outgoing, and thus at least remain in trance. Stopping all breathing, others, curtailing the eating process, offer the outgoing breath into itself as a sacrifice. All these performers who know the meaning of sacrifice become glints of equality, and having tasted the nectar of the results of the sacrifice, they advance towards the supreme eternal atmosphere. No best of true eternity. Without sacrifice, one can never live happily on this planet or in this life or then of the next. All these different types of sacrifices are approved by the Vedas, and all of them are born different types of work. Knowing them as such, you will become liberated. O chastisement of the enemy, the sacrifice performed in knowledge is better than the mere sacrifice of material possession. After all, a son of Pratha, all sacrifices of birth culminate in transcendental knowledge. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him, and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impact knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. Having obtained real knowledge and self-realized soul, you will never fall into delusion. For by this knowledge you will see that all living beings are but part of the Supreme, or in other words, they are mine. Even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, then you are situated in the ocean of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. As blazing fire transferred to the ashes, so does the fire of knowledge. One crashes all reactions to material activities. In this world, there is nothing sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is a major fruit of all mysticism. And one who has become accomplished in this practice service enjoys this knowledge within himself in due course of time. A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge, and having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. But ignorant and faithless person who doubt the real scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. One who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his action, and whose doubts have been dispelled by transcendental knowledge, is situated actually in the self. Thus he is not bound by the reactions of work, O conqueror of
riches.
Therefore, the doubts which are arising in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight.
पञ्चमोऽध्यायः कर्मयोगः अर्जुन उवाच सन्न्यासं कर्मणां कृष्ण पुनर्योगं च शंससि यक्षेदयोरेकं तन्मे ब्रूहि सुनिश्चितम् श्रीभगवानुवाच सन्न्यासकर्मयोगश्च निःश्रेयसकरा उभौ तयोस्तु कर्मसन्न्यासात् कर्मयोगो विशिष्यते ज्ञेयः स नित्यसन्न्यासी यो न द्वेष्टि न काङ्क्षति निर्द्वन्द्वो हि महाबाहो सुखं बध्नात् प्रमुच्यते सांख्ययोगौ पृथक् बाला प्रवदन्ति न पण्डिताः एकम् अभ्यास्थितः सम्यक् उभयोर्विन्दते फलम् यत् सांख्ये प्राप्यते स्थानं तद्योगैरपि गम्यते एकं सांख्यं च योगं च यः पश्यति स पश्यति सन्न्यासस्तु महाबाहो दुःखम् आप्तुम् अयोगतः योगयुक्तो मुनिर्ब्रह्मा न चिरेणाधिगच्छति योगयुक्तो विशुद्धात्मा विजितात्मा जितेन्द्रियः सर्वभूतात्मभूतात्मा कुर्वन्नपि न लिप्यते नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति युक्तो मन्येत तत्त्ववित् पश्यन् शृण्वन् स्पृशन् जिघ्रन् अश्नन् गच्छन् स्वपन् श्वसन् प्रलपन् विसृजन् गृह्णन् उन्मिषन् निमिषन् अपि इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्त इति धारयन् ब्रह्मण्याध्याय कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा करोति यः लिप्यते न स पापेन पद्मपत्रं इवाम्भसा कायेन मनसा बुद्ध्या केवलैरिन्द्रियैरपि योगिनः कर्म कुर्वन्ति सङ्गं त्यक्त्वात्मशुद्धये युक्तः कर्मफलं त्यक्त्वा शान्तिमाप्नोति नैष्ठिकीम् अयुक्तः कामकारेण फले सक्तो निबध्यते सर्वकर्माणि मनसा सन्न्यस्यास्ते सुखं वशी लवद्वारे पुरे देहि नैव कुर्वन्न कार्यम् न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः न कर्मफलसंयोगं स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते नादत्ते कस्यचित् पापं न चैव सुकृतं विभुः अज्ञानेन वृतं ज्ञानं तेन मुह्यन्ति जन्तवः ज्ञानेन तु तदज्ञानं येषां नाशितमात्मनः तेषामादित्यवज्ञानं प्रकाशयति तत्परम् तद्बुद्धयस्तदात्मानस्तन्निष्ठास्तत्परायणाः गच्छन्त्यावृत्तिं ज्ञाननिर्धूतकल्मषाः विद्याविनयसम्पन्ने ब्राह्मणे गविहस्तिनि शुनि चैव स्ववाक्ये च पण्डिताः समदर्शिनः इहैव ते चितः सर्गो येषां साम्ये स्थितं मनः निर्दोषं हि समं ब्रह्म तस्मात् ब्रह्मणि ते स्थिताः न प्रदृश्येत् प्रियं प्राप्य नोद्विजेत् प्राप्य च प्रियं स्थिरबुद्धिरसम्मूढो ब्रह्मविद् ब्रह्मणि स्थितः बाह्यस्वस्पर्शे स्वसत्तात्मा विद्ध आत्मनि यत्सुखम् स ब्रह्मयोगयुक्तात्मा सुखम् अक्षयमश्नुते ये हि संस्पर्शजा भोगा दुःखयो विमोक्षणात् कामक्रोधोद्भवं वेगं स युक्तः स सुखी नरः योऽन्तः सुखोऽन्तरारामस्तथान्तर्ज्योतिरेव यः स योगी ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं ब्रह्मभूतोऽधिगच्छति लभन्ते ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं ऋषयः क्षीणकल्मषाः क्षीणद्वैधायतात्मानः सर्वभूतहिते रताः कामक्रोधविमुक्तानां यतीनां यत्चेतसाम् अभीतो ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं वर्तते विदितात्मनाम् स्पर्शान् कृत्वा बहिर्बाह्यांश्चक्षुश्चैवान्तरे भ्रुवोः प्राणापानौ समकृत्वा नासाभ्यन्तरचारिणौ यतेन्द्रियमनोबुद्धिर्मुनिर्मोक्षपरायणः विगतेच्छाभयक्रोधो यः सदा मुक्त एव सः भोक्तारं यज्ञतपसां सर्वलोकमहेश्वरं सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिपृच्छति। ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे कर्मयोगो नाम पञ्चमोऽध्यायः।
Chapter 6, Jnana Yoga. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, one who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as he is obligated is in the renounced order of life, and he is the true mystic, not he who lights no fire and performs no duty. What is called renunciation, you should know to be the same as yoga, or linking oneself to the Supreme. O son of Pandu, for one can never become yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification. For one who is a neophyte in the Eightfold Yoga system, work is said to be the means, and for one who is already elevated in yoga, cessation of all material activities is said to be the means. A person is said to be elevated in yoga when, having renounced all material desires, he neither acts for sense gratification nor engages in fruitive activities. One must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. For one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is already reached, for he has attained tranquility. To such a man, happiness and distress, heat and cold, honor and dishonor are all the same. A person is said to be established in self-realization and is called a yogi or mystic when he is fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and realization. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything, whether it be pebbles, stones, or gold, as the same. A person is considered still further advanced when he regards honest well-wishers, affectionate benefactors, the neutral, mediators, the envious, friends and enemies, the pious and sinners, all with an equal mind. A transcendentalist should always engage his body, mind, and self in relationship with the Supreme. He should live alone in a secluded place and should always carefully control his mind. He should be free from desires and feelings of possessiveness. To practice yoga, one should go to a secluded place and should lay kusha grass on the ground and then cover it with a deer skin and a soft cloth. The seat should be neither too high nor too low and should be situated in a sacred place. The yogi should
then sit on it very firmly and practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling his mind, senses, and activities, and fixing the mind on one point. One should hold one's body, neck, and head erect in a straight line and stare steadily at the tip of the nose. Thus, with an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life, one should meditate upon me within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life. Thus, practicing constant control of the body, mind, and activities, the mystic transcendentalist, his mind regulated, attains to the kingdom of God or the abode of Krishna by cessation of material existence. There is no possibility of one becoming a yogi. O Arjuna, if one eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much or does not sleep enough, he who is regulated in the habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. When the yogi by practice of yoga disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires, he is said to be well established in yoga. As a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist whose mind is controlled remains always steady in the meditation of the transcendent self. In the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness realized through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact.
One should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith, and not deviate from the path. One should abandon without exception all material desires born of mental speculation, and thus control all the senses on all sides by the mind. Gradually, step by step, one should become situated in trance by means of the intelligence sustained by full conviction, and thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. The yogi whose mind is fixed on me verily attains the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. He is beyond the mode of passion. He realizes his qualitative identity with the Supreme, and thus is freed from all reactions of past deeds. Thus, the self-controlled yogi constantly engaged in yoga practice become free from all material contamination and achieves the highest stage of perfect happiness in the transcendental loving service to the Lord. A true yogi observes me in all being and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self-realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord, everywhere. For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. Such a yogi who engages in the worshipful service of the Supersoul, knowing that I and the Supersoul are one, remains always in me in all circumstances. He is a perfect yogi who, by comparison to his one self, sees the true equality of all beings, in both their happiness and their distress, O Arjuna. Arjuna said, O Madhusudana, the system of yoga which you summarize appears impractical and unendurable to me. For the mind is restless and unsteady. The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. O Krishna, and to subdue it, I think is more difficult than controlling the wind. Lord Shri Krishna said, O mighty armed son of Kunti, It is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by suitable practice by detachment. For one whose mind is unreal, self-realization is difficult work. But he whose mind is controlled and who strives by appropriate means is assured of success. That is my opinion. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what is the destination of the unsuccessful transcendentalist who in the beginning takes the process of self-realization with faith, but later says due to worldly mindedness and thus does not attain perfection in mysticism? Almighty Krishna, does not such a man who is bewildered from the path of transcendence fall away from both spiritual and material success and perish like a golden cloud with no position in any sphere? This is my doubt, Krishna, and I ask you to dispel it completely. But for you, no one is to be found who can destroy this doubt. The Supreme Personality of God said, Son of Vipra, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not mean with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. The unsuccessful yogi, after many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of the righteous people, or into a family of rich aristocracy. Or if unsuccessful after a long practice of yoga, he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists who are shown greater wisdom. Certainly such a birth is rare in this world. On taking such a birth, he revives the divine consciousness of his previous life, and he gains rise to make further progress in order to achieve complete success, O son of Guru. By virtue of the divine consciousness of his previous life, he automatically becomes attracted to the yogic principles, even without seeking them. Such an inquisitive transcendentalist man always above the ritualistic principles of the scriptures. And when the yogi engages himself in sincere endeavor in making proper progress, being washed of all contamination, then ultimately achieving perfection after many births of practice, he attains the supreme goal. A yogi is greater than the embarrassed, and greater than the fruited worker. Therefore, O Arjuna, in all circumstances, be a yogi. And of all yogis, the one with great faith who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me, is the most intimately united with me in yoga, and is the highest of all. That is my opinion. So how's everyone doing? Look at your right and your left. Your partners are still here? Yes? Everyone's still here? We still have some energy? Okay, we'll just break for 5 minutes. We have some tea there and some little snacks. So you can have them and come back, but we'll just give it 5 minutes. Would that be okay? 5 minutes? Is there something else prior to that?
Arjuna inquired, O my Lord, the Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are fruitful activities? What is this material manifestation? And what are the demigods? Please explain to me. Who is the Lord of sacrifice and how does he live with the body? O Madhusudana. And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? The Supreme Personality of God has said that his indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called Adhyatma, the self. Action pertaining to the development of the material bodies of the living entities is called karma, or fruitive activities. O best of the embodied beings, the physical nature, which is constantly changing, is called Adi Bhuta, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods, like those of the sun and moon, is called Adi Deva. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as the Super Soul in the heart of every embodied being, am called Adi Yajna, the Lord of Sacrifice. And whoever, at the end of his life, quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this, there is no doubt. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me, and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. He who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of God, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Partha, is sure to reach me. One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, as he who is the oldest, who is the controller, who is smaller than the smallest, who is the maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is inconceivable, and who is always a person. He is luminous like the sun, and he is transcendental beyond this material nature. One who at the time of death fixes his life hair between the eyebrows and by the strength of yoga, with an undeviating mind, engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion, will certainly attain to the Supreme Personality of God. Persons who are learned in the Vedas, who utter Omkara, and who are great sages in the renounced order, enter into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. The yogi situation is that of detachment from all sensual engagements, closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind on the heart and the life at the top of the head. One establishes himself in yoga. After being situated in this yoga practice and vibrating the sacred level O, the supreme combination of levels, if one thinks of the Supreme Personality of God and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain. O son of Pratha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, where immediate birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. My human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together, form the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night. At the beginning of Brahma's day, all living entities become manifest from the unmanifested state, and thereafter, when the night falls, they are merged into the manifest again. Again and again, when Brahma's day arrives, all living entities come into being, and with the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated. Yet there is another unmanifest nature, which is eternal, and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. That which the Vedantas describe as unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, that take place from which, having attained it, one never returns. That is my supreme abode. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he is present in his abode, he is all pervading, and everything is situated within him. O best of the Bharatas, I shall now explain to you the different times at which, passing away from this world, the yogi does or does not come back. Those who know the Supreme Brahman attain their Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery god in the light at an auspicious moment of the day, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north. The mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the fortnight of the waning moon, or the 6 months when the sun passes to the south, reaches the moon planet but again comes back. According to Vedic opinion, there are 2 ways of passing from this world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back, but when one passes in darkness, he returns. Although the devotees know these 2 paths, O Arjuna, they are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all this, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode.
राजविद्या राजगुह्यं योगा श्री भगवान उवाच इदं ते गुह्यतमं गच्छामि मनसूयवे ज्ञानं विज्ञानसहितं यज्ञात्वा मोक्षसे अच्युतः राजविद्या राजगुह्यं पवित्रम् इदम् उत्तमं यच्छतोगमं धर्म्यं सुसुखं कर्तुम् अव्ययम् असिद्धानां पुरुषा धर्मस्य अस्य परं प्राप्य मां निवर्तन्ते वृत्तिसंसारवर्त्मनि मया कृतम् इदं सर्वं जगत् अव्यक्तमूर्तिना मत्स्थानि सर्वभूतानि न चाहं तेषु अवस्थितः न च मत्स्थानि भूतानि पश्य मे योगम् ऐश्वरं भूतमिह चतुर्थस्थो ममात्मा भूतभावनः यथाकाशास्थितो नित्यं वायुः सर्वत्र भौमः तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि मत्स्थानि पुराणानि सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेय प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकां कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि कल्पादौ विसृजाम्यहम् प्रकृतिं स्वामस्तभ्य विसृजामि पुनः पुनः भूतानां इमां कृष्णम् अवश्यं प्रकृतेर्वशात् न च मां तानि कर्माणि निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय उदासीनम् असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु मयाध्यक्षेण प्रकृतिः श्रूयते सचराचरं हेतुनानेन कौन्तेय जगत् परिवर्तते अवजानन्ति मां मूढा मानुष्यं कर्माश्रितं परं भावम् अजानन्तो मम भूतमहेश्वरम् मोघाशा मोघकर्माणो मोघज्ञानाभिचेतसः राक्षसे आसुरीं चैव प्रकृतिं मोहिनीं श्रिताः महात्मनस्तु मां पार्थः देहलीं प्रकृतिमाश्रिताः भार्यजनानिदयो स्वलो ज्ञात्वा भूतादिमव्ययम् सततं कीर्तयन्तो मां यतन्तश्च दृढव्रताः नासक्तश्च मां भक्त्या नित्ययुक्ता उपासते ज्ञानयज्ञेन चाप्यन्ये ज्ञानतो माम् उपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्त्वेन बुद्ध्या विश्वतोमुखम् अहं पितृ अहं यज्ञः स्वराहं सुखौषधम् मन्त्रोऽहम् राज्यम् अहम् अग्निरहं तपम् पिताहमस्य जगतो माता दाता पितामहः वेदं पवित्रम् ओंकारः ऋक्साम्यजुर्वेदः गतिर्भर्ता पुरुषाक्षी निवासाशरणं श्रुत प्रभावादिस्थानं नीतमव्ययं तपस्यामहं वर्षं दिव्याम्यत्सुविदां च अमृतं चैव मृत्युश्च सर्वचाहमर्जुन त्रैविद्या मां सोमपा भूताकृतपापा यद्वेदशिवास्मृते प्रार्थयन्ते ते पुण्यमासादशलोकम् अश्नन्ति दिव्यान्ति देवभोगान् ते तं भुक्त्वा सर्वलोकं विशालम् पुण्येन लोकं विशन्ति एवं त्रैधर्मब्रह्म कामालमन्ते अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तो ये ज्ञानपरिभाषते तेषां विद्यायुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम् येऽपि अन्यदेवता भक्ता देशयान्ता ते अहं सर्वं जानामि भोक्ता च प्रभुरेव च न तु मां विजानाति तत्त्वेन तावदेवते यान्ति देवतादेवं पितरं यान्ति पितरदा भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्य यान्ति मायाजिनो यान्ति तत्र पशुतं फलं तोयं यो मे भद्रामयक्षति तदहं भक्तोपश्नाति यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि यदास्यति यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कृष्णपदार्थं शुभाशुभफले मोक्षस्य कर्मबन्धने सन्न्यास्य योगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मां वैश्यसि सर्वभूतेषु कामेषु स्थितं यः ते भजन्ति मां भक्त्या मायेतेषु चाप्यहम् अपचेत्सिद्धाचारो भजन्ते मामन्यमा साधुरेव सुमन्त्राय सम्यग्दर्शितोषः क्षिप्रं भवति ब्रह्मत्वा शश्वशान्तिं गच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानी न मे भक्ता प्रणश्यति मां पाठनाश्रित्य यापि शब्दालयोनया स्त्रियो विश्य तथा शूद्रा ते अपि यान्ति परं गतिम् किं पुनर्ब्राह्मणा पुण्या भक्ता राजर्षया तथा अनित्यमनुलोकम् इमां प्राप्य वशस्मा मन्मनाभवद्भक्तो मद्याजीमां नमस्कुरु मामेव शरीयुक्तामिम् आत्मानं मत्पारणम्
Chapter 10, The Opulence of the Absolute. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Listen again, O mighty Arjuna, because you are my dear friend. For your benefit I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. Neither the host of demigods, nor the great sages, know my origin or opulences. For in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages. He knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord of worlds. He only, undiluted one man, is free from all sins. Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of senses, control of mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, faith, and infamy. All these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. The 7 great sages and before them, the 4 other great sages, and the Manus, the progenitors of mankind, come from me, born from my mind, and all the living beings populate the various planets descend from them. One who is actually in the midst of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in loyal devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. I am the source of all spiritual and material goods. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and peace from always enlightening one another and conversing to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love. I gave the understanding by which they can come to me. show them special mercy,
by dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. Arjuna said, you are the Supreme Personality of God, the ultimate Lord, the purest and absolute. You are the eternal transcendental original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Shishta, Deva, and Vyasa confirm truth about you. You now yourself declare it to me. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency. O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. Please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you, and how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered? O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Janardana, again, please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I am never satiated in hearing about you, for the more I hear more, I want to taste the nectar of your words. The Supreme Personality of God has said, yes, I will tell you of my splendid manifestations, but only of those which are prominent, O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless. I am the Super Soul, O Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all things. Of the Adityas I am Vishnu, of the lights I am the radiant sun, of the Maruts I am Marichi, and among the stars I am the moon. Of the Vedas I am Samvedi, of the demigods I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses I am the mind, and in the living beings I am the living force, consciousness.
Of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of Wealth, Kuvera. Of the Vasus, I am Fire, Agni, and of mountains I am Meru. Of princes, O Arjuna, know me to be the chief Brihaspati. Of generals, I am Kartikeya, and of bodies of water, I am the ocean. Of the great sages, I am Dhruva. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy name, Japa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Of all trees, I am the banyan tree. And of the sages among the demigods, I am Narada. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitrata. And among perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila. Of horses, know me to be Ujjayi produced during the churning of the ocean for nectar. Of lordly elephants, I am Erva, and among men, I am the monarch. Of weapons, I am the thunderbolt. Among cows, I am the Suru. Of causes for procreation, I am Gandharva, the god of love, and of serpents, I am Vasudha. Of the many hooded Nagas, I am Ananta, and among the aquatics, I am the demigod Varuna. Of departed ancestors, I am Aryama, and among the dispensers of law, I am Yama, the lord of death. Among the Daitya demons, I am the devoted Prahlada. Among subduers, I am Time. Among beasts, I am the lion, and among birds, I am Garuda. Of purifiers, I am the wind. Of the wielders of weapons, I am Brahma. Of fishes, I am the shark, and of flowing rivers, I am the Ganges. Of all creations, I am the beginning and the end, and also the middle, O Arjuna. Of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self, and among logicians, I am the conclusive truth. Of letters, I am the letter A, and among compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time, and of creators, I am Brahma. I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Of the hymns in the Samaveda, I am the Brihat Sam, and of poetry, I am the Gayatri.
Of months I am Margashirasha, November to December, and of seasons I am flower bearing spring. I am also the gambling of cheats, and the splendid iron of the splendor. I am victory, I am adventure, and I am the strength of the strong. Of the descendants of Rishi, I am Vasudeva, and of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of the sages, I am Vyas, and among great thinkers, I am Krishna. Among all means of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment, and of those who seek victory, I am morality. Of secret things, I am silence, and of the wise, I am the wisdom. Furthermore, Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existences. There is no being, moving or non-moving, that can exist without me. Almighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe.
अतः एकादशोऽध्यायः विश्वरूपदर्शनयोगः। अर्जुन उवाच मदनुग्रहाय परमं गुह्यमध्यात्मसञ्चितं यत्त्वयोक्तं वाचस्तेन मोहोऽयं विगतो मम भवाप्ययो हि भूतानां श्रुतो विस्तरशो मया त्वतः कमलपत्राक्ष महाम्यम् अपि चाव्ययम् एवं वेत्तव्यथात्मम् आत्मानं परमेश्वर द्रष्टुमिच्छामि ते रूपम् ऐश्वर्यं पुरुषोत्तमा मनस्येयाधिगच्छाख्यं मया द्रष्टुमिति प्रभो योगेश्वर तव मे त्वं दर्शयामानव्ययम् श्रीभगवानुवाच पश्य मे पार्थरूपाणि शतशोथसहस्रशः नानाविधानि दिव्यानि नानावर्णाकृतीनि च पश्याम्यां वसुरुद्रान् अश्विनमरुतस्तथा मुहुर्मुहुर्षपूर्वाणि पश्याश्चर्याणि भारत इहैकस्थं जगत्कृत्स्नं पश्याद्यसचराचरम् मामहेहेदो मुकेश यच्चान्यद्द्रष्टुमिच्छसि न तु मां साक्षसि द्रष्टुम् अनेनैव स्वचक्षुषा दिव्यं ददामि ते चक्षुः पश्य मे योगमेश्वरम् सञ्जय उवाच एवम् उक्त्वा ततो राजन् महायोगेश्वरो हरिः दर्शयामास पार्थाय परमं रूपमेश्वरम् अनेकवक्त्रनयनम् अनेकाद्भुतदर्शनम् अनेकदिव्याभरणम् दिव्यानीकोद्यतायुधम् दिव्यमालाकुपरधरम् दिव्यगन्धानुलेपनम् सर्वाश्चर्यमयं देवम् अनन्तं विश्वतोमुखम् दिवि सूर्यसहस्रस्य भवेद्युगपदुत्थिता यदि भासस्तस्य भासस्तस्य महात्मनः तत्रैकस्थं जगत्कृत्स्नं रविभक्तम् अनेकदा अपश्यद्देव देवस्य शरीरे पाण्डवस्तदा ततः स विस्मयाविष्टो हृष्टरोमाधनञ्जयः प्रणम्य शिरसा देवं कृताञ्जलिर्भाषत अर्जुन उवाच पश्यामि देवांस तव देवतेः सर्वांस्तथा भूतो शेषसङ्घं ब्रह्माण्डमीशां कमलासनं विशिष्य सर्वं पुरदांश दिव्यान् अनेकबाहुधरवक्त्रनेत्रं पश्यामि सर्वतोऽन्तरूपं नान्तं
नराभ्यं चक्रिणं च तेजो रसिं सर्वतो विद्युन्नतं पश्यन्ति त्वं दुर्निरीक्षणसमर्थात् दीप्तानलार्कं द्युतिमप्रमेयं त्वम् अक्षरं परमं वेदितव्यं त्वमस्य विश्वस्य परं निधानं त्वम् अव्ययः स्वधर्मगोपता सहस्रं पुरुषो मतो मे अनन्तमहं शशिसूर्यनेत्रं पश्यामि त्वं दीप्तप्रकाशवक्त्रं स्वतेजसविश्वमिदन्तमनघं ज्ञानार्थदिव्योऽन्तरं हि व्याप्तं त्वयैकेन विश्वस्य सर्वः दृष्टाभूतं रूपं ब्रह्मवेदं लोकत्रयं प्रव्यथितं महात्मम् अभिहितं सुरसंज्ञाविशन्ति केचिद्विधार्जनयो गृह्णन्ति स्वस्ति स्युत्वा महर्षिसिद्धसङ्घा सुवन्ति त्वं स्तुतिभिः पुष्पदाभिः रुद्रादित्यं तस्मै सविहे सद्यं विश्वे अश्विनौ मनुष्यश्च गन्धर्वयक्षासुरसिद्धसङ्घा विशन्ति त्वं विस्मितश्चैव सर्वे रूपं महते बहुवक्त्रनेत्रं महाबाहो बहुरूपं बहुधरं बहुदमष्टकालं दृष्टारोपं दीप्तमनेकवर्णं दीप्तविशालनेत्रं दृष्ट्वा हि त्वं प्रव्यथितात्मा दृशिं प्रविन्दां समं विष्णो दक्षराष्ट्रकानां निक्षिते मुखानि दृष्ट्वैव कालानलसन्निभानि दिशो न जाने न लाभे शरणं प्रसीद देवेश जगन्निवास राष्ट्रस्य पुत्रः सर्वे सर्वेवाननिकालसंज्ञके विश्वो द्रोणसुतपुत्रकथासु सभास्मदीयेऽभियोगमुखे वक्त्राणि परमनाभिशन्ति दंष्ट्राकराणानि भयानकानि केचिद्विलग्नदशनान्तरेषु सन्निष्कृतेषु निवेदितमार्गे
भीष्मं च जयद्रथं श्रुत्वा वचनं केशवस्य कृताञ्जलिर्वेपमाना किरीटी नमस्कृत्वा भूय एवाह कृष्णं सगद्गदं भीतभीतं प्रणम्य अर्जुन उवाच स्थाने ऋषिकेश तव प्रकृत्या जगत्प्रहृष्यत्यनुरज्यते च रक्षांसि भीतानि दिशो द्रवन्ति सर्वे नमस्यन्ति च सिद्धसङ्गाः कस्माच्च तेन न मिरन्महात्मन् गरीयसे ब्रह्मणोऽप्यादिकर्त्रे अनन्तदेवेश जगन्निवास त्वमक्षरं परतरं यत् त्वमादिदेवा पुरुषः पुराणस्त्वमस्य विश्वस्य परं निधानम् वेदासि वेद्यं च परं च धाम त्वया कृतं विश्वमनन्तरूपम् वायुर्यमोऽग्निर्वरुणः शशाङ्कः प्रजापतिस्त्वं प्रपितामहश्च नमो नमस्ते सुसहस्रकृत्वा पुनश्च भूयोऽपि नमो नमस्ते पुरस्तादपृष्ठदस्ते नमोऽस्तु ते सर्वत एव सर्व अनन्तवीर्यामितविक्रमस्त्वं सर्वं समाप्नोषि ततोऽसि सर्वम् सखेति मत्वा प्रसभं यदुक्तं हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति अजानता महिमानं तवेदं मया प्रमादात् प्रणयेन वापि यच्चावहासान्नसि विहारशय्यासनभोजनेषु एकोदवाप्यच्युत तत्समक्षं गच्छामये त्वमहमप्रमेयम् पितासि लोकस्य चराचरस्य त्वमस्य पूज्यस्य गुरुर्गरीयान् न त्वत्समोऽस्याप्यधिकः कुतोऽन्यो लोकत्रये प्रप्रतिमं प्रभाव तस्मात् प्रणम्य प्रणिधाय कायं प्रसादये त्वामहमीशमीड्यं पितेव पुत्रस्य सखेव सख्यो प्रियायार्हसि देव सोढुम् अदृष्टपूर्वं हृषितोऽस्मि दृष्ट्वा भयेन च प्रव्यथितं मनो मे तदेव मे दर्शय देवरूपं प्रसीद देवेश जगन्निवास किरीटिनं गदिनं चक्रहस्तम् इच्छामि त्वां द्रष्टुमहं तथैव तेनैव रूपेण चतुर्भुजेन सहस्रबाहो भव विश्वमूर्ते श्रीभगवानुवाच मया प्रसन्नेन तवार्जुनेदं रूपं परं दर्शितमात्मयोगात् तेजोमयं विश्वमनन्तमाद्यं यन्मे त्वदन्येन न दृष्टपूर्वम् न वेदयज्ञानयनेन दानैर्न च क्रियाभिर्न तपोभिरुग्रैः अहं निलोके द्रष्टुं त्वदन्येन कुरु प्रवीणा मा ते व्यथा मा च विमूढभावो दृष्ट्वा रूपं घोरमिदृन्ममेदम् व्यपेदभिप्रीतमाना पुनस्त्वं तदेव मे रूपमिदं प्रपश्य सञ्जय उवाच इत्यर्जुनं वासुदेवस्तदोक्त्वा स्वकं रूपं दर्शयामास भूय आश्वासयामास च भीतमेनं भूत्वा पुनः सौम्य वपुर्महात्मा अर्जुन उवाच दृष्ट्वेदं मानुषं रूपं तव सौम्यं जनार्दन इदानीमस्मि संवृत्ता सचेता प्रकृतिं गता विश्वरूपदर्शनयोगो नाम एकादशोऽध्यायः हरिः ओम्।
Chapter 12, Devotional Service. Arjuna inquired, which is considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested?
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be the most perfect.
But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immutable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me.
For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied.
But those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me, and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service, and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pritha, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death.
Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt.
My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop the desire to attain me.
If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage.
If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act, giving up all results of your work, and try to be self-situated.
If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind.
One who is not envious, but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor, and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me. Such a devotee of mine is very dear to me.
He for whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equal poised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, is very dear to me.
My devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some result, is very dear to me.
One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, such a devotee is very dear to me.
One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge, and who is engaged in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me.
Those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service, and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me.
Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose to the 12th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of devotional service.
enjoyer and consciousness. Arjun Uvacha Prakatim Purusham Chaiva Kshetram Kshetrakam Yaiva Etadveditam Chami Jnanam Geyam Chakeshava Shri Bhagavan Vacha Idam Shariram Kampeya Kshetram Mitya Abhiyate Etadveditam Prabhu Kshetrakam Vida Kshetrajnanam Imamvidi Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata Kshetra Kshetrani Vadanam Yajja Jnanam Madam Mama Tat Kshetram Yajja Yadaksha Yadvikara Yadaschaya Sacha Yogyat Prabhavascha Tat Samasena Vishnu Vrishtir Mukadagitam Chando Virvidekita Brahma Sutra Padasheva Hetumabhi Vidishchita Mahabhutani Ahankaro Buddhi Avyakamevacha Indriyani Vasaikicha Pancha Chendriya Gochara Ichcha Dvesha Sukha Dukham Sangasta Shetanadriti Eta Kshetram Samsena Savikrana Udatam Amanipam Admavidipam Ahimsa Shantirajavam Acharya Pasanam Saucham Stairyam Atma Vinigraha Indriyaneshu Vairajyam Anahara Evacha Janman Mrityujara Vyadhi Dukha Doshan Darshanam Asakirana Visanga Putradhara Grahadishu Nityam Chatavam Iskcon Iskcon Mayi Chanyanya Yogena Bhakti Arya Vicharini Vivikta Desha Sevitam Aarti Jana Samsati Adhyatmanana Nityatvam Tattva Janatanachanam Ekajnanam Iti Proktam Ajnanam Yatayamyata Neyam Yata Pravachami Yatnastami Kalmashure Ananimat Param Brahma Nasatam Nasatuchate Sarvatapani Padamada Sarvato Shishiromukam Sarvakashti Loke Sarvam Agratishti Sarvendriya Navasham Sarvendriya Vachitam Asaktam Sarvakachayva Nirgunam Gunavottacha Vahirantasya Bhutanam Vacharam Charamnevacha Shukshmavata Avidhiyam Durastam Chantikechata Avivaktam Cha Bhuteshu Vivaktam Vivacha Sthitam Bhutatachatateyam Rasishnu Prabhavishnu Cha Jyoti Samapita Jyoti Samasayam Site Jnanam Yam Jnanam Vidhi Sarvasya Krishtitam Iti Kshetram Tajanam Diyam Chokam Samasata Madhbhakta Eta Krishnaya Madhbhava Upakatyate Prakatim Purusham Chaiva Vidyanati Udapami Vikarman Sarvam Chaiva Vidhi Bhakti Sambhavam Karyakarana Pratve Hetu Bhakti Ruchate Purusha Sarvakama Bhoktalpe Hetu Ruchate Purusha Bhakti Stohi Bhukte Bhakti Janmana Karanam Guna Santosya Sarasa Yoni Janta Sushu Upatra Samastam Matacha Paratam Bhuta Maheshwara Paramahiti Chakuto Deyashmi Purushapara Yadevam Vedi
यः पश्यति स पश्यति समं पश्यति सर्वत्र समर्थम् ईश्वरं न हि कस्य आत्मानं ततो यति परं गति प्रकृत्यैव च धर्माणां क्रियमाणानि सर्वशः यः पश्यति तदात्मानम् आत्मानं स पश्यति यदा भावम् एकस्त्वमनुपश्यति तथा एव च विस्तारं ब्रह्म सम्प्रयते तथा शरीरस्थो अपि कौन्तेय न करोति न लिप्यते यथा सर्वगतं सौक्ष्म्यम् आकाशं परिलीयते सर्वत्र स्थितो देहे तथा यथा प्रकाशस्य कृष्णं लोकमिमं रवि क्षेत्रं क्षेत्रतः कृष्णं प्रकाशयति भारत क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञयोरेवं अन्तरं ज्ञानचक्षुषा भूता प्रकृतिमोक्षं च ये विदुर्यान्ति ते परम्।
Chapter 14, the three modes of material nature. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Again I shall declare to you the supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection. By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution. The total material substance, called Brahman, is the source of birth, and it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the births of all living beings, O son of Bharata. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, O mighty Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes. O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminated, and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. O son of Bharata, know that the mode of darkness, born of ignorance, is the delusion of all embodied living entities. The results of this mode are madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul. O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness conditions one to happiness. Passion conditions one to fruitive action, and ignorance, covering one's knowledge, binds one to madness. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance, O son of Bharata. Sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and at other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy. The manifestations of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of body are illuminated by knowledge. O chief of the Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrollable desire and hankering develop. When there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, O son of Kuru, darkness, inertia, madness, and illusion are manifested. When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets of the great sages. When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities. And when one dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom. The result of highest action is pure and is said to be in the mode of goodness. But action done in the mode of passion results in misery, and action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness. From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. and from the mode of ignorance develop foolishness, madness, and delusion. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. When one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental to all these modes, he attains my spiritual nature. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. Arjuna inquired, O my Lord, by which symptoms is one known who is transcendental to these three modes? What is his behavior, and how does he transcend the modes of nature? The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O son of Pandu, he who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are active, who is situated in the self and regards alike happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is equal toward the desirable and the undesirable, who is steady and situated equally well in praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats alike both friend and enemy, and who has renounced all material activities. Such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature, and thus comes to the level of Brahman. And I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal, and it is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness.
Hare
Shri Panchadashodhyayah Shri Pushottama Yogo Nama Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Purvamulam Madashakam Ashwatam Prabhuravyayam Chandasi Yasya Parnani Yaspam Vedasya Vedave Adashchotvam Prasiddhastasya Shaka Guna Pravita Kshaya Pravaha Adashcha Mulani Ansankatani Karmanubandhini Manushya-loke Narupamasyeya tatopalabhyate Nato nachare nacha sampratishta Ashvattamyena suvirudamulam Asanga-shastrena dridena chitva Tatapadam tat-parimagitavyam Yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuyah Tameva chakram purusham prapadde Purani Nirmana Moha Jivasanga Dosha Adhyatma Nitya Vidivritta Kama Rangai Vimukta Sukarunga Samagne Rachanti Amuda Padamabhyayam Natat Vasayati Suryo Nasashako Nabhavaka Yadgadvana Nivartante Taddama Paramam Mama Mamaimamsho Jivaloke Bhuta Sanatana Manashashtani Indriyani Prakritistani Kashati Shariram Yadavapnoti Yachapi Putramadishvara Grihit Vaitani Samyanti Vayurvardani Vashaya Shodram Chakshusparshanam Cha Rasanam Granam Evacha Adhishtaya Manashchayam Vishayam Vasevate Brahmantam Sitam Vapi Punjanam Vagunadvitam Vimudhananu Pashyanti Nana Chakshusha Yatanto Yogiraschainam Pashyanti Atmani Avastitam Yatanto Vyatratmano Nainam Pashyanti Achetasah Yatadhyagatam Tejo Jagat Pasyate Ilam Yachandramasi Yacharnau Tattejo Vindhimahakam Kamavishya Chakutani Karayami Amamojasa Pushnami Chaushadha Sarva तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद् गीतासु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे पुरुषोत्तमयोगो नाम पञ्चदशोऽध्यायः।
Chapter 16, the Divine and Demoniac Natures. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault-finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, study, determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy and from the passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharata, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. Pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance, these qualities belong to those of demoniac nature, O son of Pritha. The transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas the demoniac qualities make for bondage. Do not worry, O son of Pandu, for you are born with the divine qualities. O son of Pritha, in this world there are two kinds of created beings. One is called divine and the other demoniac. I have already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now hear from me of the demoniac. Those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness, nor proper behavior, nor truth is found in them. They say that this world is unreal, with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. Following such conclusions, the demoniac who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. Taking shelter of insatiable lust and absorbed in the conceit of pride and false prestige, the demoniac, thus illusioned, are always sworn to unclean work attracted by the impermanent. They believe that to gratify the senses is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, until the end of life, their anxiety is immeasurable. Bound by a network of hundreds of thousands of desires, and absorbed in lust and anger, they secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. The demoniac person thinks, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain much more according to my schemes. So much is mine now, and it will increase in the future more and more. He is my enemy, and I have killed him, and my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man, surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices. I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. Thus perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell. Self-complacent and always impudent, deluded by wealth and false prestige, they sometimes proudly perform sacrifices in name only, without following any rules or regulations. Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, I perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. Attaining repeated birth and death, birth amongst the species of demoniac life, O son of Kunti, such persons can never approach me. Gradually, they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. There are 3 gates leading to this hell: lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. The man who has escaped these three gates of hell, O son of Kunti, performs acts conducive to self-realization, and thus gradually attains the supreme destination. He who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness, nor the supreme destination. One should therefore understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated.
सप्तदशोऽध्यायः श्रद्धात्रयविभागयोगः अर्जुन उवाच
ये शास्त्रविधिं मुच्यते यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विता तेषां निष्ठा तु का कृष्णा सर्वम् अमोघजस्तमा श्रीभगवानुवाच त्रिविधामवति श्रद्धा देहिनां सा स्वभावजा सात्विकी राजसी चैव तामसी चेति तां शृणु सत्त्वानुरूपः सर्वस्य श्रद्धा भवति भारत श्रद्धामयोऽयं पुरुषो यो च यज्ञते सात्विका देवा यक्षराक्षसी राजसा प्रेतं भूतागणां स्नायते यज्ञते तं सुसाधना अशास्त्रतीर्थं घोरं तप्यन्ते तपोजना ब्रह्माकारसंयुक्ता कामकारावनान्ता काशयन्तशरीरस्थं भूतनां चेतसः मां चैव तदशरीरस्थं तान्निर्गयासुरानिश्चयम् महाराजसमपि सर्वस्य देयो भवति प्रियः यज्ञस्तपस्तथा दानं तेषां वेदं इमं शृणु आयुसत्त्वारोग्य सुखप्रीतिविवर्धना राक्षसनिग्धास्त्यावृत्य आहार सात्विका प्रिया कट्वहल्लनातिष्ठं दीक्षारुषाहिदाहिनम् आहाराराजसस्येष्टा दुःखशोकमयप्रदा यथा यन्वाञ्जतरसम् उति प्रयुक्तं तव उच्चिष्टमाचमेद्यं भोजनं तमसा प्रियम् अपहर्षिर्यज्ञो विधिष्ठो यदीक्षते शिष्टादेव विद्वाना समाधाय सात्विकः अभिसन्नाय दुर्बलं दम्भार्थाभिचैव इज्यते भरतश्रितं तं विद्याजसं विधिहीनां मन्त्रहीनां श्रद्धावैरागितं यज्ञं तां सर्वं परिकर्षते देवद्विजा गुरुप्रज्ञा पूजनं शौचमार्जनं ब्रह्मचर्यम् अहिंसा च शरीरं तप उच्यते अनुदेवाकरं वाक्यं सत्यं प्रियहितं च यत् स्वाध्यायं दाक्षिणं चैव वन्मायं तप उच्यते मनःप्रसादसंयम्यं मौनमात्मविनिग्रहः भवसंसुदेतपो उच्यते श्रद्धोदयं तप्तं तपस्तत्त्रिविधं नरैः अपारश्रिभिर्युक्ते सात्विकं परिचक्षते सत्कारमानपूजन्त्रं तपोदम्भेव चैव यत् करीयते तत्कृतं राजसं चलमधूर्वम् विनायते तपः परसंसानार्थं वा तत्तामसं पुनाहृतं दातव्यं इति यत्दानं क्रियते अनुपकारिणे यज्ञकाले च पात्रे च तद्दानं सात्विकं स्थितं यत्तु प्रतिपकारार्थं वनं कृष्णा पुनः क्रियते च परिकृष्टं तद्दानं राजसंस्कृतम् आदेशकाले यज्ञानम् अपर्णेन्द्रस्य लीयते असत्कृतम् अवज्ञातं तत्तामसं पुनाहृतम् ॐ तत्सदिति निर्देशो ब्रह्मणस्त्रीनिद्रस्कृता ब्राह्मणास्तेन वेदाश्च यज्ञश्च विहिता पुरा तस्मात् ओमुखनिर्धार्य यज्ञदानतपक्रिया वर्धन्ते विनामोक्ता सततं ब्रह्मवादिनां तदिति तदधिकार्य फलं यज्ञतपक्रिया दानयज्ञसविना क्रियते मोक्षकाङ्क्षिभिः सद्भावसारब्रह्मच सद्विद्येतद्वियुज्यते ततस्ते कर्मणि तथा सच्छब्दपार्थयुज्यते यज्ञता प्रतिबन्धं च स्थितिसंचितोच्यते कर्म चैव तदतीरं सविद्यमेवाभिधीयते अश्वधर्मकृतं दत्तं तापस्तप्तं प्रकम्पया असादिति उच्यते न च तपेतरोर्मिलः
ओम तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुन संवादे शतत्रयो विभागयोग नाम सप्तदशोऽध्यायः।
Final chapter. Chapter 18, conclusion. Arjuna said, O mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation, tyaga, and of the renounced order of life, sannyas, O killer of the demon, master of the senses. The Supreme Personality of God had said, the giving up of activities that are based on material desire is what great learned men call the renounced order of life, sannyas, and giving up the results of all activities is what the wise call renunciation, tyaga. Some learned men declare that all kinds of fruitive activities should be given up as faulty, yet other sages maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance should never be abandoned. O best of the Bhagavatas, now hear my judgment about renunciation, O tiger among men. Renunciation is declared in the scriptures to be of three kinds. Acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even the great souls. All these activities should be performed without attachment or any expectation of a result. They should be performed as a matter of duty, O son of Pritha. That is my final opinion. Prescribed duties should never be renounced. If one gives up his prescribed duties because of illusion, such renunciation is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Anyone who gives up prescribed duties as troublesome or out of fear of bodily discomfort is said to have renounced in the mode of passion. Such action never leads to the elevation of renunciation. O Arjuna, when one performs this prescribed duty only because it ought to be done, and renounces all material association and all attachment to the fruit, his renunciation is said to be in the mode of goodness. The intelligent renouncer, situated in the mode of goodness, neither hateful of inauspicious work, nor attached to auspicious work, has no doubts about work. It is indeed impossible for an embodied being to give up all activities, but he who renounces the fruits of action is called one who has truly renounced. For one who is not renounced, the threefold fruits of action, desirable and undesirable, and mixed, accrue after death. But those who are in the renounced order of life have no such result to suffer or enjoy. O mighty armed Arjuna, according According to the Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all action. Now learn of these from me. The place of action, the body. The performer, the various senses. The many different kinds of endeavor. And ultimately the supersoul. These are the 5 factors of action. Whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind, or speech is caused by these 5 factors. Therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. One who is not motivated by false ego, whose intelligence is not entangled, though he kills men in this world, does not kill, nor is he bound by his actions. Knowledge, object of knowledge, and the knower are the 3 factors that motivate action. The senses, the work, and the doer are the 3 constituents of action. According to the 3 different modes of material nature, there are 3 kinds of knowledge: action and performer of action. Now you have them from me. That knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all living entities, though they are divided into innumerable forms, you should understand to be in the mode of goodness. That knowledge by which one sees that in every different body there is a different type of living entity, you should understand to be in the mode of compassion. And that knowledge by which one is attached to one kind of work as the all in all, without knowledge of the truth, and which is very meager, is said to be in the mode of darkness. That action which is regulated and which is performed without attachment, without love or hatred, and without desire for fruitive results, is said to be in the mode of goodness. But action performed with great effort by one seeking to gratify his desires and enacted from a sense of false ego is called action in the mode of passion. That action performed in illusion, in disregard of scriptural injunctions, and without concern for future bondage, or for violence or distress caused to others, is said to be in the mode of ignorance. One who performs his duty without association with the modes of material nature, without false ego, with great determination and enthusiasm, and without wavering in success or failure, is said to be a worker in the mode of goodness. The worker who is attached to work and the fruits of work, desiring to enjoy those fruits, and who is greedy, always envious, impure, and moved by joy and sorrow, is said to be in the mode of passion. The worker who is always engaged in the work against the injunctions of the scripture, who is materialistic, obstinate, cheating, and expert in the insulting others, and who is lazy, always forced and procrastinating, is said to be a worker in the mode of ignorance. O winner of wealth, now please listen as I tell you in detail of the different kinds of understanding and determination, according to the 3 modes of material nature. O son of Brita, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, is in the mode of goodness. O son of Brita, that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, between action that should be done and actions that should not be done, is in the mode of passion. That understanding which considers irreligion to be religion, and religion to be irreligion, under the spell of illusion and darkness, and strives always in the wrong direction, O Partha, is in the mode of ignorance. O son of Brita, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice, and which thus controls the activities of the mind, life, and senses, is determination in the mode of goodness. But that determination by which one holds fast to the fruit of results of religion, economic development, and sense gratification is of the nature of passion, O Arjuna. and that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion. Such intelligent determination, O son of Prita, is in the mode of darkness. O best of the Bhagavatas, now please hear from me about the three kinds of happiness by which the conditioned soul enjoys, and by which he sometimes comes to the end of all distress. That which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. That happiness, which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects, and which appears like nectar at first, but poison at the end, is said to be of the nature of passion. And that happiness, which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is said to be of the nature of ignorance.
There is no being existing, either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems, which is free from these three modes born of material nature. Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras are distinguished by the qualities born of their own natures in accordance with the material modes or chastiser of the enemy. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmins work. Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership are the natural qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. Farming, cow protection, and business are the natural work for the Vaishyas, and for the Sudras there are labor and service to others. By following these qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Now please hear from me how this can be done. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all-pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault. One who is self-controlled and unattached, and who disregards all material enjoyments, can obtain by practice of renunciation the highest perfect state of freedom from reaction. O son of Kunti, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain to the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize. Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, being free from attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind, and power of speech, who is always in trance, and who is detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship, and peaceful. Such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service.
And when one is full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotees under my protection teaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace. In all activities, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. If you do not act according to my direction and do not fight, then you will be falsely directed. By your nature, you will have to be engaged in warfare. Under illusion, you are now declining to act according to my direction. But compelled by the word born of your own nature, you will act all the same, O son of Kunti. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. O Siyan of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. By his grace you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme and eternal abode. Thus I have explained to you knowledge still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully, and then do what you wish to do. Because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. O son of Pritha, O conqueror of wealth, have you heard this with an attentive mind? And are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled? Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, and am prepared to act according to your instructions. Sanjaya said, thus I have heard the conversation of the two great souls, Krishna and Arjuna. And so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end. By the mercy of Vyas, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna. O King, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure being thrilled at every moment. O King, as I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, I am struck with wonder more and more, and I rejoice again and again. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. Om Tat Sat.
Reciting all the 18 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. And I'm sure you all feel very fortunate that we could have been anywhere else, but we were here today reciting the Bhagavad Gita.
We did one part of the yajna, which is to read the Bhagavad Gita. Now it's our turn to do the second part of the yajna, which is to radiate or share the Bhagavad Gita. There are many, many, many people who are outside this room who have probably never heard of the Bhagavad Gita. And on this very special day, auspicious day of Gita Jayanti, as we read in the 18th chapter, there is no one more dear to me than he who shares this knowledge. So all of us who are fortunate enough to read, to be familiar, to be acquainted with the Gita, it is our duty to share the Bhagavad Gita. In Toronto, we are very fortunate that we have the Shastra Dan program, which allows everybody, even someone who doesn't have any time, to participate in sharing this divine knowledge. Over the last 15 years, we have placed the Bhagavad Gita in more than 4,000 venues all over Canada. And more than 170,000 books have been placed in venues across Canada. And these venues, of course, include hotels, motels, but they also include places like correctional facilities. Last Sunday, I don't know how many of you were here, but we had a live testimonial of a chaplain from the largest correctional institute in Canada. He was describing how the Bhagavad Gita that was placed because of donations of devotees like yourselves. There are people in that correctional institution who have nothing to do with any kind of a background, knowing about Krishna or the Bhagavad Gita, but their lives transformed. So much so that they actually asked for a Srimad Bhagavatam right in the prison. 2 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, there's a lot of good causes, but there's only one great cause. And that cause is to give someone knowledge. Because knowledge is the end of all suffering. You can do many acts of charity, give somebody food, give somebody clothes, but if they're destined to suffer, they are going to suffer. It's the law of karma, unfortunately. But when we interject their lives with knowledge, it allows them an opportunity to access divine wealth. So today, I won't take more of your time. I know everybody's waiting for prasadam. But today, on this very special day, please don't hold back. Come forward, participate in the Gift of Gita program. We have these cards, we have convenient online options by which you can donate. One box of Bhagavad Gita that has 24 copies only costs $156. Please, there is no maximum, there is no minimum, and there is no maximum. Some people give all their lives, you give what you can, because your donation is going to make a big difference. Every little bit counts. It's changing the world one person at a time. So please, don't hold back. We have a goal of 28,000 Bhagavad Gitas in Toronto, and Krishna willing, by your support, we will do it. Please come forward. Today is the day, auspicious day of Gita Jayanti. Make your donations count. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so how many of you participated from the beginning to the end, reading all the chapters of the Bhagavad Gita? Put up your hands. Hare Bol. Okay, look at your partners. Are they still there alive? Tell them that, you know, in this world where 30 seconds of Instagram reels only trend and not more than that, we stayed here for 3 long hours and read the entire Bhagavad Gita. So thank you so much. But as Shama Moini Mataji was mentioning, that is just the first part of the yajna. The next yajna is still left, which is to share the knowledge, share the wisdom. So do participate in the Bhagavad Gita marathon. And all I wanted to say that today's prasadam is cooked by Dwarkanath Prabhu. So let's hear from Dwarkanath Prabhu. Also wanted to mention one more thing. The neighbors around might not know that today is Gita Jayanti. So you might tell them not by living around the garbage. So please don't do that. And I quickly also want to invite His Holiness Bhaktiman Swami Maharaj to say a few words.
Thank you, Krishna. We are so grateful that Krishna has spoken up. And so this is all about sharing. And just to, let's say, agitate a little bit of competition, I was in our Mississauga facility last Sunday, and the devotees there got together, pledged for 1,300 Bhagavad Gitas in Spanish for the Cuban population. So that's a new direction, and these are the kind of things we can do. So let's thank Mississauga. Yeah, now you're up for some competition.
we have a quick announcement from Manisha. She has a great news for holiday season coming up. What's that?
Yes, so it's December now, which means people are usually kind of off work. And if you want to celebrate the holiday season, the best way to celebrate is by chanting the holy name. So on December 22nd, from 2 to 6 p.m., we're going to have an amazing holiday kirtan. So please join us. It's Sunday, December 22nd. Mark your calendars, and it's going to be amazing.
Perfect. So we look forward to see you on December 22nd, and of course every Sunday for our Sunday Feast program. Thank you so much for participating in the Bhagavad Gita Marathon by reading it today, and of course by participating. Hare Krishna.
And when